And welcome to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. And folks, we got a great conversation we're going to have today. The first thing we're going to talk about is Bad Bunny and the Super Bowl appearance that he made. But the second thing we're going to talk about is going to hit real home. We hope to awaken the Black community to the truth. So if you ain't got nothing to do, call your friends and let them know. You're I'm your host, Pastor David. Come in. And welcome to the talk show, Let the Truth Be Told. I'm your host, Pastor David. First, let me give all praise to Yahuwah and Yahusha. That's Hebrew for God in Christ. Well, I'm trying to frame this to the American people and patriots across this country. I've been up early this morning, like every morning, but I've had an opportunity to really take a look at what's been going on across the country, the implications of sexuality and homosexuality at the Super Bowl halftime with Bad Bunny. The fact that NBC chose a person who did his entire skit and spoke Spanish. And the acts that was committed in the video of what they were doing lean toward homosexuality and the acceptance of it. So after my second cup of coffee this morning, I had to just sit back and chill down because to the American people and patriots across this country, we have to actually think about what we're allowing to happen and what's being put in the face of our children and the future of the United States of America. How is it that we have lowered our standards to the place where we're allowing people who can't even speak English to dominate an American dream football that we created? Where did we get to the place where that or the NFL was created by America? So where did we get to the place where we would allow politics to spill over into a sport? See, as an old athlete, there is no racism in athletics because all of us played on the same team. And when one of us experienced a discrimination or some type of harassment, I don't care, black, white, green, whatever, we all stuck together. That's the American way of life. That's how it's supposed to be. But it hasn't been that way. Still yet, as a country, how do we allow people like the Somalis, how do we allow other places and other people to come into our country and spew hatred and bring their... Anyway, let me get my group in before we get started. Hey, Randy, how's it going?
Good day.
Listen, guys. Can you hear us straight?
Yes,
we can hear you today now. Okay.
I'm in the office today.
He's back on 4G.
Yeah, Xfinity finished their work. So they were doing work for like a week and a half. So like at points in the day, it was just in the morning, I just had no internet and it would come back whenever it came back. So I'm glad they're done.
I'm glad that they done too, because I wanted to hear, like I said earlier, man, I was talking to everybody. This is my second cup of coffee this morning. I've been to the gym. I done hit the bag. I done did all these things. And this fire still rages in me. I don't understand. And I hope this lights a fire in every Black American across the country. I don't know how and why the Democratic Party would think that Black people are so ignorant, that we have no thoughts of our own, that we are so uneducated that they have to hold our hand just for us to get an ID. See, that's the perception that bothers me the most about this whole thing. The Bughead Bunny, that just was total disrespect, okay? But the fact of the matter is, and I'm trying to put it in the right way, in a pastoral type of way. So, because see, the South Side of Chicago been out in me this morning. You understand what I'm saying? Where I'm from, how dare you have the audacity? You don't even think the thought that you would say that I'm so dumb as a Black citizen, that I'm so dumb as a Black American, that you got to hand feed me. So that's what the Democratic Party is saying to us, is that y'all Black people, y'all some dumb, you know what? That's what.
Yeah, come on.
And how can we as Black people, where's our pride?
Come on.
Where's our pride for our family and our children? Where is it? Did we just throw it away? The reason why that these people, and I'm saying it, white America has been responsible for it because of the way they treated Black people when they got over to this country. And even though Black people rose up out of there, Dr. King and Malcolm X, who fought and gave their lives for us, the future. And here we are. They separated us. They separated the men from the families and made us weak. If you want to destroy a race of people, do what they have done to the Black community. They took our men out to protection. Then our women was flooded with power they didn't even know how to handle. Then we created children that lacked knowledge to know about God and self. Now everything is running crazy, and now all of a sudden, guess what? I guess if I was the enemy too, and I wanted to cripple the Black community for life, first I have to make them psychologically think that they are not worthy to be a second. They're not even second-class citizens anymore. See, we got to kill that thought. Then we got to uneducate their children so the children don't understand politics. And then we got to put our house Negroes in place to keep them to a place to keep voting for the Democratic Party so that we can keep killing them.
Wow.
Black people, they killing us. The Democrats are killing us and telling us to our face that y'all too dumb to get an ID. Your thoughts, Doc?
Well, they are convincing people to vote for their own demise, right? Because they saw us pull away from Trump,
yes.
Right? And then they were like, well, we got to make him a racist, because if we can make him a racist, then they'll run back to the Democratic plantation where we're not going to give them anything. And we're going to put all of these illegals over them. We're just going to convince them that if they vote for us, we might give them a chance, but they're still going to vote for their own demise. See, it's still voting for our own demise. At the end of the day, there are people in that Democratic Party that want to make people eunuchs. They want pedophilia. They are fighting for it.
Yes.
And they don't care. Because, see, they've taught our children to hate themselves, hate the country, right? And those two things will lead to our own demise. So when they see less Black people out there and the other melanated people take our place calling themselves Black, it doesn't look like erasure. They want true Black Americans to continue to vote for their own demise.
Your thoughts, Randy?
I 100% agree with both of you. The idea that if you're not an ally, and this is they use the language to guilt you into your own demise. if you're not an ally to the LGBTQ, then you're part of the problem. If you're
Right.
not going to fight against the patriarchy, which by the way that means manhood and a man
Family.
system, your family exactly. Then you are a part of the problem, and so they use language to guilt people
Yeah.
into their own demise. And when I say that, it's interesting because I'm here in Austin, Texas. This is I'm a red dot in a blue sea, and I'm around these cats, and they be saying stuff to me because they assume that I'm part of their team, everything.
Right, just because you're melanated.
Yeah,
Come
and I look at it, I'm like, who are you talking to? And they're like, well, aren't you an ally? I'm like, hell no, I am your worst enemy. And
Yes.
and they be like, oh
I know
my
your
God.
secrets now. Thank you for talking.
Yeah, so they know when I'm coming, but but you have to expose it, and I want Black America to stand up and push back on these things. I was out yesterday with one of my candidates. We was going door knocking and stuff, because we got the elections next week, and I was talking to a Hispanic gentleman, very cool, and he was like, I don't run across Black Republicans like this. Why? He just wanted to know, and he was like, I don't have anything against it. I just don't see you guys, And so we had a good 20-minute conversation in his front yard, and we was breaking down some issues, and he was like, I see, I get it. You're absolutely right. He was like, us Black and brown, we're always the victim. We're always the the go-to for these issues, and they fool us. He said it. I was so proud of him. I said, look, here's my number. Give me a call because I want to make you a precinct chair. I'm gonna get you into becoming a precinct chair in this county because you got common sense. You know what's up, and so that's what we need to do. We need to stand up and push back against these things that we know is wrong.
Yes.
We know it's jacked up. We know it, but we sit there and we're afraid and we get guilt tripped into accepting these things, and we got to shut up or our livelihood is gonna be in danger. Our job is gonna be called and all this stuff. Call them. Here's the number.
Yeah.
And when you get off the phone, I'm gonna whoop your ass. How about that?
Yes.
They're gonna be like, oh my God. So Dre, take yeah.
All right.
I'm on one today.
That's all right. Let's keep the fire going. Now, Pastor Lara, you started off by asking about IDs, and right now in Congress, they're hoping to pass the Save America Act, which is going to force states to ensure that everyone that's coming to vote has an ID. And part of the reason why they don't want this, and part of the reason why we're hearing all this inflammatory language about it being Jim Crow 2.0, is because they get an advantage when they have people that are not supposed to be voting that actually vote. Because their idea is that a lot of these people are going to vote Democrat. So as a result of that, we're seeing all this pushback from the Democrat side. But I don't think Americans are going to be fooled. I think they're going to pressure their elected officials to take on the SAVE Act, because having identification, having programs like E-Verify, these things protect Americans and the privileges of being a citizen of this country.
Absolutely.
Mr. Big,
The problem is they're not running the proper conflict searches to determine who's a citizen and who's not. E-Verify is great, but you're actually getting verified by somebody you know, as opposed to them, once they're in the system, they run a conflict search. I'm kind of okay with these illegals getting driver's licenses now, because now they can run a conflict search and determine who said that they were a citizen and who wasn't. Then they can be automatically deported because they've lied.
Yep. But Mr. Binky, you wanna we gonna expound. We talking about the SAVE Act this morning. You wanna say something about that? I've just been on it's not a rant, but it's true. Listen, for Black people to have to went through what we have went through to this country, with this country and with this government, it's really a damn shame. It really is. And our communities does not respect the wealth that other communities represent. And we know the problems that we've had. So when is Black America, for me, And everybody out there listening, when are we going to get back to the place where families mean families and we're growing up together, we're teaching our children, we're educating them, we're saying we had these many kids that graduated out of college. You know, the pride that families had that they wouldn't do anything adverse to even bring dishonor to your family name, those type of things. So when you tell me, and this is where the friction is for me, when a Democratic Party who get money off our taxes to live, when they get to a place where they can say the SAVE Act is we need it because our Negroes can't read and write, they literally have no creative thinking, they're just a bunch of dumb N-words, and we have to spoon feed them, because that's why we have to go against the SAVE Act. These are the Democrats saying we got to go against the SAVE Act so that we can keep our Negroes in check, and two, we can keep the war against grain so we can always bring in more people when we want to replace them. Your thoughts on the SAVE Act, Big?
Well, probably I'm not going to be liked again, but you know, I do listen to people who read the whole bill, and I hope everybody here's read the whole bill. And in this bill, it actually gives people born here to illegals the opportunity to be able to vote. I can send this to everybody if they want to read it. This is a breakdown of the SAVE Act, and as usual, you know, just like with the Patriot Act, the National Defense Authorization Act, and blah blah blah, everything's in there saying it's going to do this, but it does other stuff along the way. So it's the 26th Amendment says U.S. citizens at the age of 18 or older are able to vote. And then in the Second Amendment, and I'm paraphrasing this, the Second Amendment says that Congress, legislators can create laws in regards to it. So if it says citizens are allowed to vote of 18 or older, and they can create laws in Section 2, then why don't they just create a law saying that in order to vote in a federal election, you must show an ID? That's all it needs to be said. But the SAVE Act, and these ladies break it all down, it isn't exactly the SAVE Act is what you would want it to believe. So, I mean, I can send all of you.
Because isn't there a reiteration? Isn't there like a SAVE Act 2?
Yes, there's a Save America Act. So maybe they're different.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
the SAVE Act. The SAVE Act is the legislation regarding the voting aspect, and the Save America Act is something a little different.
So what if
regarding immigration?
If they want verified IDs like they do for signing
everything,
you want Social Security, you want welfare, you want a bank account, you want this, you want that. You want to go inside of a federal building or a state building, you got to show an ID, blah, blah, blah. So it's that simple. The Democrats have nothing to argue about. So it's simple. You must provide an ID in a federal election in order to vote.
Steve, it goes further than that, though. You know, the idea that any population of people, whether you black, Asian, blue, a Martian that's visiting, you came into this country or you were born in this country, you had to have ID to even be mobile. You know, because you got to have an ID to rent a hotel. You got to have an ID to drive. You got to get an ID. You have to have an ID, 2 forms of ID to get airline tickets. So I wish Democrats would stop gaslighting the American people to its entirety with the stupidity of that argument that it's gonna be Jim Crow 2.0. No, it's gonna be you're a dumbass 2.0, because why are you saying that people don't have IDs? Because everybody has ID. Matter of fact, my voter registration card, because of the redistricting that we just went through, I was automatically sent my new voter registration card, which is tied to what? Guess what? Hello, my driver's license. But this is my voter ID. You know, I can just bring this card. I don't even have to show them my ID. I can just give them my voter ID, and they run it and say, "Okay, Randy, here's pick a booth and have fun," and that's it.
It's been common sense, though, guys. That
crazy.
All the elections that I've been through, I've always had to show my ID to prove who I were, just to come into it and match the ballot to my name. Exactly. It's simple. So this is why I say that this should be a wake up call for the Black community, a real wake up call, because
this
is it, because they're disguising, talking about Jim Crow 2.0, that it's an abomination. But the real deal is, again, it's a spiritual war. So we can see homosexuality in all of these areas, because that was Barack Obama's mission, was to open up things to DEI and put these people in place so that they could affect us no matter who was in leadership.
Yeah.
But Trump, being who he is weeding them out, and they know this should be the last straw for Black people. Now, if you can't see how the Democratic Party is against us and how they're psychologically trying to keep us in the Stockholm syndrome of our mind to think that it's okay for us to tell everybody across the world that Black people are so damn dumb they can't get a license. Let me play this clip right quick.
I'm national correspondent Kayla Gaskins in Washington. The issue of voter ID is back in the spotlight on Capitol Hill as Republicans press the Senate to take up the SAVE Act. The bill would require proof of citizenship to register to vote and mandate voter ID at the polls. Republicans are ramping up pressure on the Senate to vote on the SAVE Act, legislation that would require Americans to prove their citizenship when registering to vote and to show identification at the polls.
Who would not want voter ID? Only somebody that wants to cheat. Think of it. We don't have voter ID, and the Democrats don't want it. And the reason they don't want it is because they want to cheat.
The bill has already passed the House, but its future in the Senate remains uncertain, with GOP leaders stopping short of committing to a timeline of bringing it to the floor for a vote.
We will get a vote on the SAVE Act at some point, and I'm not sure exactly what that context will be.
Democrats calling it a step backward for voting rights.
The SAVE Act is nothing more than Jim Crow 2.0. It would lead to massive purges that inevitably remove legitimate American citizens who have the right to vote from voter rolls.
House Republicans remain firmly committed to the policy.
It's a top priority of the president. It's a top priority of House Republicans, and it should be all Republicans.
And so does President Trump.
Voter ID is a highly popular and common sense policy that the president wants to pursue.
Polling suggests broad support for some form of voter ID. A Pew Research Center survey found more than 9 in 10 Republicans and about 7 in 10 Democrats favor photo ID requirements. And a Gallup poll from last fall showed majority support across parties for requiring proof of citizenship for first-time voter registration. Some Republicans have called for the Senate to bypass filibuster rules to get around the 60-vote threshold needed to advance the SAVE Act.
Okay.
Yeah, I hope they do that, because it's not a financial based bill. But to Mr. Binky's point, we got to make sure that it's a clean bill, right? And that it's not backdoor amnesty. You know what I'm saying? Because they are really pushing hard for it. I'm just saying, y'all.
Yeah.
Well, it's just like the Patriot Act. You know, this Patriot Act, it created the TSA. So now you go to the airport, you're automatically guilty until you go through the process, right?
Right.
Well, it's for your safety. And then now your bank account. So you get money deposited or withdrawn. It's all monitored, you know, and it's all, you know, because we don't want you dealing with the enemy, the terrorists. It's mind-boggling how the use of safety and your health just takes your rights away one right after another.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
You're absolutely right.
They want you
No.
begging for a solution worse than the problem it solves.
Well, yeah, they're creating
Yes.
a problem there to say they've got a solution to fix the problem that they
Right, but it's
created.
worse.
They created. Yeah, exactly.
You stop to think about it. On 9/11, what caused all the chaos? It was from people on expired visas, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep.
So if our government did their due diligence and did their job and made sure all these people abided by the rules,
Yes.
okay? But see, we've got a government that just says free for all, come on, just we'll take care
They
of
need the
this.
bodies. They need the numbers. They need the numbers to create the districts. So because that's a Democratic policy now. They need
Well,
the
I
bodies.
would say to resolve that whole visa issue and part of the immigration issue problem. Just look at everybody who's here that overstayed their visas. They're in the system. They're in the system because
Yeah,
they
they
had
are.
to go through. They had to go through the system to get it. So it's like, okay, let me do a query, expired, and then boop, 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 boop. Okay, hey, this is where they at. Go get them.
Well, look at
and then bar them.
There was no enforcement for that before because they weren't going after those people. And now the Trump administration is doing that, and like people are freaking out and they're not overstaying their visas.
And this asylum excuse, they got you hear these governors and these Democrats going, well, these people are here on asylum. That's legal. No, wait a minute. Hold on.
Yeah.
There are steps to getting asylum. There's a process there. And the Biden administration overwhelmed the system to where these people that are supposed to be going to an immigration court to be determined if their asylum is actually real or not, they got court dates all the way to 2030.
Yeah.
Well, that's
and that was done on purpose.
That was done. That was done on purpose. It was done on purpose. So all of this that we're seeing has culminated. It started a long time ago because the government kept trying us, and I would say both parties did, but specifically the Democratic Party kept trying the Black community. Every time they would make a change and Black people didn't say nothing, they would grab a little bit more of our community and tear it up. Yeah. We never said nothing. So when the crime bill came in 94, Black people have relinquished all of their power to bargain with the federal government because now they allow things to happen in the Black community so that now you have Black people like the pastors running to the government for help, saying, oh, help us, it's out of control, we can't do it no more. And so we gave that authority away, and then you bring in the corrupt politicians that we have, the college-educated Negroes. They know who I'm talking about. The Afro rappers and all the rest of y'all, they should be ashamed. The Divine Nine guys beating these sticks on the damn ground and kissing these people ass to keep these jobs. And you've let our society go to a hell in the handbasket.
Well, Dave, one of the problems there, just what you're saying is, one of the problems is that the Black community and the white community have done is let people speak for them. Like you got Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson. Yeah. Okay, they're going to speak and supposedly for the Black community, right? And they're when I listen to them, they're opposite of what Dr. King was really about. And but then when you listen to them, they're saying this is what Dr. King wanted.
It's considered, and the church does this too. Being in a spiritual war, I hate the fact that the church has adopted the ways of the world. The church is not standing on what Christ built it to be, because if it was, the church would retain its power and would not allow these people like Jesse Jackson or Al Sharpton and the rest of those who say that they love the Black community, but it's not reflecting in the Black community.
Correct.
See, that's what the problem is. You could say, and this is the problem in politics for Black people. let me bring it home to you real quick. We talk about how we need to make a change, and we looking for a real change in the Black community. I think, Black people understand the situation that we're in now. We have had other Black leaders who won't tell the Black people the truth in the situation that we're in because they are a part of the system. And so when pastors started taking money from the federal government that was created under Ronald Reagan with the charitable contributions, that was created to control the Black church. And it has done its job because it diluted the church's power to be able to stand up for political issues to fix it, because now they need their money. And so right now, the Black community needs to understand that we have to get out on our own. We can't continue to be the infants, because anytime that you would think that a race of people, this is the Democratic Party. So I don't even know how it should be more Black pastors right now than I've ever seen before. They should be standing up. It should be press conferences called. We should be talking about how the Democratic Party think that we just abundant Negroes.
Well, Pastor Laurie, what I've seen is that the church, some of the church has been co-opted, and they're bought and paid for. And if we take a look at Kirk Franklin, what's he doing? He's saying that Black people should be more involved with pushing back against ICE because Jesus was an immigrant. So not only is he giving false information, he's also trying to get Black Americans involved with a protest.
We need to see if he's in the Epstein files. Let's just see.
Yeah, he probably is.
No, he's not. No. Wait. Time out. I'm throwing flag on the play. 10-yard penalty.
Why are you throwing the penalty flag? Why?
Because Kirk Franklin does not do that. You know why? Because he's bending over. He ain't.
You darn right he's bending over.
No. He ain't going for the girls. He ain't going for the girls.
Yeah.
He ain't going for the girls. I'm sorry.
Okay, Jamal.
There's a lot of things done on that island. I'm just saying. P. Diddy, we don't know. Was he hanging out with the baby oil? Like we don't know.
That would be plausible.
I was just throwing allegedly. Allegedly.
But the thing of it is that how can pastors what the level that
call on TDJ
gave us, but
call on Jamal Bryant.
No,
we can't call on those individuals because we can see that they've sold their soul to the Democratic plantation. Period.
Yes.
They have sold their souls.
No, I'm calling God's people, man. That's why I'm trying to activate God's people today, Randy. I'm gonna let you. What I'm trying to do here today, even to y'all, I'm restoring your Black pride into you as Black men and women. I'm restoring the pride that you have into yourself, that the mere words and the mere thoughts of things that does not conflict or relate to you, you should be up in arms about that, because it's the way that people look at us. It's the way that people look at Black people. When I was coming up, when Dr. King them created the atmosphere, James Brown, Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud, and Black people would walk around with their head up. They were owning businesses. We was teaching our children how to be educated and how to operate in this society. All of those things, this is where I came from. So what I'm trying to do to Black people today is let us get, this Black History Month, let us get some pride in ourselves about who we are and where we came from.
Right. Absolutely. And I think we should also have pride in America because, it was like a spinoff of the Rocky movie, and they kind of treated it as like a hilarious side moment in the movie. James Brown did a song called Living in America. And that's one of the most patriotic songs. I used to rock my son to sleep to that song. Man, I calm down from a fuss after hearing that. So
I want to say something that's going to piss off probably the whole entire fan base of this show, Pastor Lowry. and
Here it comes,
it's going
y'all.
it's going to be deliberate. And the idea that Dr. King espoused. So first off, people have to understand the political philosophy of Martin Luther King Jr. He was very much a student of Marxism and socialism. He espoused the ideas of having universal basic income. He espoused the idea of collectivism and everything else. So these are all tenets that are within the socialist Marxist construct. And so he intentionally framed, and it goes back to language usage, he intentionally framed things to, I love that, Steve. He intentionally framed these things to trick the black mind into thinking that, you know, they deserve, you know, these freebies, these handouts, to be on the welfare system and everything else. He tricked that. And so when you fast forward and you say that Al Sharpton and Jesse Jackson and Bryant and T.D. Jakes and all of them, they're espousing saying this is what Dr. King would want it. They are absolutely right. You better listen to them because they're telling you that he was the messiah of socialism for the black pastor community, that they need to continue his work and his legacy of spreading socialism and Marxism within the black community. And that equated to the economic downfall of the black community. And so this is where we at today, folks. So when y'all say Martin Luther King was the greatest thing since sliced bread,
he was not.
You might want to reevaluate.
He came back later, but he did learn. He came back later after talking to Du Bois, and that's when he said, "Hey, we're coming to get our check," because his eyes were opened. So yes, he did start out as a socialist, and he was calling for socialism for not only black people but white people. But like I said, later on, when he found out about the farmers, when he found out about the GI Bill, when he found out all these different harms, he was like, "Wait a minute, we've been hoodwinked." That's when they killed him.
During
that
time,
it was too late. It was too late.
Because until then, he was protected. I'm just saying, as long as he was on that socialism plantation, he was protected.
During his Marxism deal there, wasn't he also considered a Democrat?
Yes.
No, he was a Republican.
He was a Republican after
yes.
He originally was, I believe, a Democrat.
Well, you know, this is the thing about, and this is why I continue to say that the black community has to really do research and find out who we are.
Yeah.
See, the enemy has been good as far as not educating our children on what happened in the past so that they could make their mind up that it wouldn't happen in the future. And so when there has been a process to bring the black community to where it's at right now. And I watched it happen with my own eyes. I watched Dr. King. Yes, I watched Dr. King amass the pastors together because he realized, even though he had his own mission, he realized that the NAACP and all of those organizations who were started by Jews was not specifically trying to address black issues. And so he came back here in Georgia, and they created the Southern Christian Leadership, thus bringing all the pastors to him so that they could fight for the black cause. Now, mind you, his ideology to create black masses worked, but his ideology to help us to maintain independence and freedom, that's where we died at. And Malcolm was the one. Malcolm X was the one through the Nation of Islam who was trying to awaken the black people to say what I'm saying today: enough is enough, black people. The Democratic Party has showed us who they really are. They told us we was a bunch of dumbass, know what? And guess what? We need to show them. We need to end the Democratic Party, black people. You so dumb you can't get an ID. Your children so dumb, or they dumber than dumb. But look at what happened. Black people allowed all these things to happen to us. We allowed them to tell us we couldn't vote. Then when they finally got the vote, people don't vote. And then now we've allowed them to have our own black people in office who doesn't care about the black community. And that's why we are dying All black political leaders should be enraged right now. Pastors should be enraged. It should be, because our young people are ready. It's the bad leadership. We should all be raised in hell right now saying, how dare you Democrats say that we can't read and write? So guess what? We don't need to be with you, because if this saying that showing your ID is that would make us look dumb, then we don't need that party. Your thoughts on that, Drake?
Well, you're spot on. And what I wanted to add was, when you listen to some of these politicians, they're not in some sort of la la land that Black Americans wouldn't be able to vote at all. What they clearly say is it will make it harder for them to vote. And why does that hurt them, that it makes it harder for them to vote? Because they've been losing a lot of votes from Black Americans because of different issues, whether it's immigration, whether it's social programs, whatever it may be. The backstabbing from Black leadership that have made promises and not followed through. But it is the fact that it would make it harder for them to vote. And there's this stigma that they're putting out there that it's going to be like Jim Crow, because like having like ICE officers at the voting places or people checking ID, there's this stigma that they put in the Black community that police officers are not your friend, that you can't expect anytime that you see a police officer, you should turn and go the other direction. And, you know, we're supposed to feel like we're victims around the police officers, but that is not the case. But that's the fear that they're putting out there. So they get enough people on their side to try to overturn what this act would actually do, is make sure that the people that are supposed to vote actually vote. And if your constituency has a problem getting the ID and it's thwarting your way, that's not a Republican tool that's being used to, you know, keep those people from voting. Where are those people going to vote anyway? Where are those people going to get off the couch anyway? Where are those people going to get the proper documents? They're talking about a very small population, but because of the razor thin margins, the Democrat Party can't afford to lose anyone.
No. And aren't their donations down, by the way?
Yes.
Yeah. They don't have the money that they had before. So they are extremely desperate. They're in desperation mode. You know, but to that point, and the sad part is the Republicans, and this is where they're lacking, the ground game is bad, and it's always been bad. They just assume that people are going to vote for them, or we're just a uniparty where they're allowing this nonsense on the ground because they want us to fight over the crumbs. Like it's one or the other. You know, pick a lane.
Spot on.
But here's the thing: people are waking up to that. And to your point, Randy, if you are a precinct chairman, which I am here in my state, it's like learning the door knocking, right? Learning how to spread the message, because no, I'm not a Republican. I'm for the Redemption Party, but I want to help out the Republican Party in any way I can to get out the vote. And so people aren't afraid to run as a Republican, because Republicans are like scared to come outside. I'm like, what's wrong with y'all? Ground game, let's go. You don't get to sit back and whine. Well, the national committee's not giving us any money. If y'all don't get it together, get outside, because these Democrats are beating you left, right, and center because people don't know you exist. You're not going into the areas where Black people.
Randy,
go ahead. Come on, Shaq. Because you're absolutely right, Doc. Because, like I said, you know, when I run candidates, I make them get out there in the streets. I'm like, don't take it for granted. I don't care how much money you think you got. Get out in them streets, knock on those doors. Because guess what? The problem is, in these Black communities, in these Hispanic communities, and even in the white communities, they don't see Republicans knocking on doors. They don't see that. They like, you're a Republican? Are you feeling okay today? Like, what are you doing? Why are you at my door? Like, what's going on here? It's like, no, we want to get out here. We want to actually understand the issues on the ground. We boots on ground out here. And so I love it. And you're absolutely right that to Dre's point, you know, we have to look at these things through a lens of, hey, you're telling us that we're too dumb to get an ID to vote. You're telling us, hey, we can't do these things because we're black. And oh, by the way, we're fear mongered ourselves. Show me the proof. Show me a population of black people that can't get an ID. Show it to me. And the Democrats will shut up. They shut up. They be like, well, because remember,
facts?
think back.
You want this backed up with real information? Come on.
Think back to last year when they the World Series in Georgia with Stacey Abrams, and then when Georgia was trying to pass the ID bill down there, and the Major League Baseball said, you know what, we ain't finna deal with this drama. We're just gonna take this shit to Colorado. And the whole black community got upset. They was like, man, y'all just killed our businesses down here. We was looking for that
all the money out.
Yeah, and so Stacey Abrams was talking about, so don't worry about that money, y'all. But she got $2 billion from Joe Biden and disappeared.
Got more than that, and they hit so much money. Mr. Binky, you want to comment on that?
Yeah, another time to everybody's point here, as Doc said, the Republicans need to get off their butt and start telling people who they are, because the Democrats have got the media campaigning for them every day, knocking down the Republicans and basically convincing people through the media that Republicans are doing nothing but bad. So that's another good point that she made, that the Republicans need to get out and start claiming their name and what they're doing, because media is.
Well, you know, guys, that's the thing here in Chicago that I run into with the Republican Party. I know President Kathy Salvi and I have spoken. She considers me more of a MAGA type pastor. But I'm just
love the country. You're MAGA. It's cool.
Yeah, I just love the country. I love being a Black American. I love success that America has brought me as a young man, because I was taught to be a true American and work for what I want. The capitalism made me successful, and there were barriers. Don't think there wasn't, but I was smart enough to being taught how to go around those barriers to accomplish my mission. And I think that's what's missing, and that's what's missing in our Black community, that our young people do not know the next step. So when you get out of high school, if you're not going to go to college and everybody's not going to go to college, you need to find something that you can do to be successful in to take care of your family. Because see, you can't just wait for handouts, because that's what's going to happen. We've had a breakdown in our generations to our young people where they have not learned anything. They don't know about other trades. They got our kids thinking that I'm gonna be a super Nintendo player and I'm gonna learn this
influencer
basketball, or they give our children the service type attitude that we're gonna do hair, or not thinking about engineers and doctors. And I'm not saying all, but a lot of our children has not been exposed to other careers.
That's on purpose.
You know, Dave, just like you just said, Dave, you if you're going to be successful, you have to learn how to get around through and over obstacles. And politicians, government, and media don't want people to understand that today. They you know, they want to tell you how things are supposed to be. You talked about capitalism, you know, free market capitalism successfully is ran by the people. Because if I don't like something, I don't buy it. So that company's got two options. I either make my product desirable or I go out of business. And only the successful is going to go on and make something of themselves. But when you got government coming in there and they're coming in here doing it for you, what do you got to work for? What do you got to be successful at? Because you're sitting there waiting for government to provide for you.
Yep. And to the Black community.
And it's sad. And you got the government people making money off of the government saying how they hate billionaires. You are the billionaires and millionaires.
Right,
and
exactly.
And yourself off of the taxpayers. Like, they are such criminals. I'm sorry. I'd throw that in.
But you know, no, that's correct, because that leads us into this next video. Being here in Illinois, being in Chicago and all the surrounding areas, I was the president of the NAACP in the South Suburban branch. And during my tenure, I was able to take a branch with 12 members and turn it into a branch of almost 4,000 to 5,000 people. And one of the people that was an aspiring young person who I thought would become a great political leader was Tiffany Henyard. And so I watched her grow into become the mayor of Dalton, Illinois. But during the time that she grew into something else because she hook, line, and sinker fell for the Democratic Party. And my teachings were to my young people was, we black people first. No matter what you say, you can be a rich black person and they still gonna treat you like an N-word. You have to put black people first. And so she got tricked to the Democratic Party. And she became part of the problem that we saw today. And she went on to become the mayor of Dalton, Illinois. Her name is Tiffany Henyard. And so we bumped heads when she became the mayor, right before she came the mayor, because she had purchased property. She was a bad landlord. She defrauded the housing commission out of millions of dollars.
sad.
She also had a house, a young lady, Mrs. Smith and her family. There was so much mold in the house, and that's when I got involved. To have this family removed out of that house and the city put this family up for almost a month on my behalf for this family to help them because the mold had taken the house. So Tiffany and I bumped heads and we filed a lawsuit against her that we won, and they finally paid it after years of fighting in court. But as the mayor of Dalton, she really abused her power. She was a product of Frank Zuccarelli. Frank Zuccarelli was he was straight mob. He was straight mob, and he handled the Democratic Party with an iron hand. And I mean, when you say an iron hand, I seen him slap a guy one time that's the mayor of our Country Club Hills, but Calumet City.
Calumet City.
Slap him in the face because he brought him the wrong soda. See, this spiritual war been going on a long time that I've saw. Frank Zuccarelli was a homosexual, and everybody out there in the south suburbs that came to power, they had to come through Frank in order to be received to get these offices, right? But Frank died, and so when Frank died, Tiffany was his last invention. So she came and she took over Thornton Township physically and became what we saw her today. And so, but I want to play a clip that when God got a way of turning things around. Like the other day, we played a clip of Jasmine Crockett, who was a staunch Democrat, crying about how this and this and this and that. And now she's switching to be a Republican. Now she just switched to be a Republican, saying that, Randy, your people in Texas gonna vote for her if she get on the ballot.
She is.
Yeah, that's wishful thinking.
Yeah, you say
I will sound that alarm so loud that they would think that it was Jesus coming back and the walls of Jericho have fell again. No.
You can't continue to run on fear and low voter IQ. Like that's all you've got.
Yeah.
So I'm going to play a clip on her and what she said. Now that she's out of the office, now that she came to some kind of sense in her head to say, wait a minute, they're right. Because the Democrats have done this. Here you go.
Voting for Democrats. Listen to this.
One thing that I've heard from a lot of people is that the Democrats aren't doing anything for the Black community.
That's true.
So,
I lived it. That's true.
You lived it. You mean
I lived it because I am a Democrat. I ran as a Democrat, and if you go check my voting record, that's what I always pull, a Democrat ballot. They say they're a Democrat, don't mean they for you. They're normally for themselves. Yes. Right now, Republicans are doing a good job to me. This is my opinion. No, so all the stuff that I will say this about Trump, that Trump states, fake news, election rigging, stealing seats, it is happening. Because it's happening in Illinois. And I was right there to see it at the caucus in December of 2024, where a person came and stole the election. They didn't even let the people in to vote.
What?
Yes, it was voter suppression at its worst. The news covered it. They saw it all. But guess what? No one did anything. People signed affidavits saying they wanted their vote to count. Did not count.
Okay, now let me tell you, you live by the sword, you die by the sword.
Right.
What she did when she took that office, it was illegal what she did. And so what they did again, when they wanted to oust her, they did illegal procedures just like she did. So karma came to get her. Your thoughts on it, Doc?
Yeah, I mean, wasn't it Lori Lightfoot that came and actually audited her, right?
Yeah.
And brought out all of the deficiencies that she had done, but she was coached to create those deficiencies.
Yes.
Right? It was
Yes.
the goal was to bankrupt the city. And
Yes.
you see it a lot. And then you wonder why, okay, they're bankrupting these cities. Why are they doing that? Because if they can have these cities at a deficit, they can continue to control these cities because they will give them money, but it's money that it's attached to, you have to do it this way. So
Yes.
it's slavery in a completely different way, but it's still happening. I mean, I'm glad that she brought it out, but you know what? You have scorched earth, your political aspirations in anything. You know what I'm saying? Everybody's going to look at you sideways, regardless of what you do. You will never, ever hold a position that has any leverage because people know how dirty you are, right? And people are still going to find out how dirty these people are. That's the only leverage that we really have is really exposure on these individuals.
Yeah.
What's your thoughts on that, Mr. Binky?
Well, she was all good with it when they were helping her, wasn't she?
Yeah, she was.
Look, she took the money. She didn't
Yeah.
walk away.
She was the problem. She was part of the problem.
Mhm.
She helped keep the problem going until they discarded her. They didn't need her no more. And now she's going to try to save face by saying, "Oh, Mega this and the Republicans that and all that." That's definitely a person I couldn't trust.
Exactly. Your thoughts, Randy?
To Dr. Shack's point about bankrupting the cities, that's how they become incorporated into these little smaller suburbs, and they go bankrupt and everything. So they get incorporated into the largest city, the largest neighboring city, like Chicago, and then they get ran over, and they're continued or perpetuated into poverty because they know they have that city trapped. And so it's a system by design that people don't understand. And so when you go to a town and it says it's unincorporated or incorporated, that should send you a flag one way or the other that like, okay, they're unincorporated. That means that they got some good stuff going on. But if it's incorporated, then it's like something's not right here. Let me keep it moving, because that's just what it is. And it ties back to property ownership. It ties back to land. It ties back to those resources. And if you control the resources, you control the people. You control the people, you will stay in power indefinitely. So that's what it is. That's why they're so. It's crazy because the conversation around affordability, it's a subjective term, and so they're telling us about, oh, we need to put in more apartment complexes. No, ladies and gentlemen, if you out there and you live in an area where they're talking about bringing in more apartment complexes, if you don't push back against that, you get everything you deserve. Because that's how they control those in those areas. They bring in a population of people to live in those apartment complexes because they own nothing and they will like it. That goes back to that language. Goes back to that language.
The people that get the freebie stuff, right? To your point, the other thing that is really crazy about this, and I hate that I'm losing my thought on this, but I was just thinking about how, in the taxes realm, right? The affordability, but you keep raising taxes on the people, like that crazy governor in Virginia. It's either Virginia or Vermont. They took away all of the savings by taxing people more, and you keep trusting these people. I'm like, what is going on?
You get.
Well, the city of Harvey just went bankrupt about a year ago. And as a matter of fact, the mayor just passed away. Chris Clark just passed away a few months ago. So let me tell you something. This is Chicago politics. And Chris Clark was no longer useful because he'd already bankrupted the city. So, they put him in the hospital and next thing you know, he's dead. So you're so right, Randy, about what's happening. It's the slave condition. It's the same thing that's happening in Chicago right now and New York. They're bankrupting the cities so that they can be taken over. And the Democratic Party is the one who is in assistance with other organizations, those NGOs. That's what they're doing. And they're buying up property in the city right now. The NGOs are using that Democratic money. They're buying it up. They're moving Black people out of their homes. They're moving Black people out of their businesses. And they're bringing in their own people make money off the Black community, what's left of it. So that's why I'm running for mayor to bring up. We gotta kick everybody out. I'm kicking everybody out. All that because if I can, if the
one man show,
if a
I'm the
person,
county tax collector, I'm the sheriff.
I gotta go because my thought is, if people from another country can come to Chicago and open a business in less than 2 weeks, why can't Black people do it in their own communities?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why can't we do it? Why can't our children have a business? So see,
because the standards are different. The standards to get in the game are different. See, the rules are stacked against us, and I don't think people realize that. They're like, well, you have to have so much capital. You actually have to have proof of concept. You actually have to show that as a business. But everybody else can come over here, not speak English, get a loan, and get propped up and get right into the system.
But they don't.
Are we doing?
Most of them, they do get the loan money and stuff, but this is how they open businesses up quickly. One of them will buy a utility license. They'll get granted a utility license. And then from that, you can open up phone stores. You just find a building, and then T-Mobile and all the rest of Verizon will come and fill your building up full of their product. They'll help you advertise so you can make money.
Yep, franchising.
Wow.
It's a stuff franchising.
You got to remember a lot, Dave. You got to remember here too. Whatever government creates, it controls. If you get a license or a permit or pay a tax, you have no say so, and you don't own nothing.
But at the same time, it's making millions of dollars for people who are not Black in the Black community making money.
It makes it harder for the Black community to have something.
So
but see, they'll deny a Black person what Pastor David is talking about, Steve. That's the problem.
Yeah, that's
why. And you're continuing to put people over people. So here's the real game. You're gonna make money off of government. Look, the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, and all of these other families that are billionaires, they own nothing, but they made all their money through government.
Yes.
So the argument you can't just live off of government is a false equivalency because people have made billions of dollars.
Yep.
Well,
and they purposely keep other people out.
I worked 15 years.
One or the other. You can't
15 years with the federal government,
but you're still a part of that system
as a contracting officer. And what my job was to negotiate major contracts for minority companies who would come to do business with Uncle Sam. And at my tenure of those 15 years, I was able to award millions and millions of dollars to small businesses across the United States to provide services or whatever that we needed to get done, construction or whatever it was, to accomplish the mission of that base. The federal government is the federal government is one of the most lucrative businesses that you can do business with because you can make money astronomically because the company that I worked with, they would have me to go buy a bearing, that small bearing, and it would cost me $1.99. But they would require a specific type of grease in the bearing, thus driving the price up to $100. And so all of that kind of stuff. So the point that I'm making is this. The Black community needs to understand these things in order to survive, because if they knew about contracting, and that's why I'm about to open this school up for entrepreneurs, that's going to be one of the areas that I'm going to train people in government contracting. I also want to train them into the gaming. Just like these people get the utility license that don't have degrees, they can't speak English, but they open businesses. I want to teach our children how to use those same stuff, the same vehicle, to do it for us. It's about Black people now. We can't wait because we have to lead the Democratic Party. We have to become self-sufficient, and we have to start investing into our own community. And that means getting everybody out and letting us heal. And then we start creating economics for our children, get our schools back. Hopefully we can find pastors who will stand up for God and not for man. That's what we need to. And bringing all that and bringing our families back, that's the only way we're going to survive. Steve?
Okay.
Yeah.
Back when the Black communities was successful, did the Black community depend on government?
Yes.
No.
Okay. So
I will say yes, because those contracts still go through. They run
But
through
no,
a city. You can't separate it like that.
I'm
You just
talking.
can't.
I'm talking back in the 50s or early 60s, before civil rights, before welfare. People, I should say, all people who wanted to create their own business could do it.
Yes.
Without having all these regulations and taxes.
Right. That's
and
before the regulations kicked in.
Right. Yes, and that's my point. Is why don't we demand? Now, we're the people here. We're the ones. We're above government. We created government. Why do we allow government to dictate to us how our business is supposed to operate, what we need to have to operate? Why do we have to have this? We don't.
We don't.
You do realize that a lot of the bureaucracy put in place was to harm one specific community, but it's bled out to everybody else.
Yes. Yes.
So technically, I don't want to say it's our fault that government is horrible, but they specifically wanted to harm one community, but it's bled out to everybody else.
Well, what I'm wanting to advocate is we need to take back what belongs to us. A free market and a capitalist market belong to the people.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And we've got court systems for people who get harmed or damaged. And if somebody does something wrong to somebody, you take it into court and you go in front of a jury to decide if somebody did somebody wrong. Not this idea that you're going to do this, and you're going to do that, and then this regulation this and this regulation that, because that's government. That's we got to get
and
away
that's what
from
Trump
it.
is trying to roll back. I
Yes,
mean,
that's
in
what
his
he's trying
first
to roll
in
back.
his first term,
We
he
gotta
rolled
do
back a ton of regulations, not enough. But I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
But
we've
it's
got to
up
do
to
it.
us.
We've
It's the
got
people.
to demand this.
Yes, you're right.
It's the people that needs to make these demands, and that's why I'm telling, especially black people, we got to take our power back and be self-sufficient. Because once that we have our own power, people will look at us differently. They will look at us in a totally different manner, because when I was growing up, black people owned everything that they had, and we invested into each other. Society looked at Black America totally different. It was a look of respect and say, you know what, they're controlling this, they're teaching their kids. How competitive the blacks were academically back in my day. I mean, we ranked right there, but they used to say the Chinese are smarter than us. No, that's a damn lie, because I had a Chinese guy that copied off my paper in high school. So that type of thinking, they don't look at us as academic people or smart people. The image that the Democratic Party have portrayed, and to y'all educated Negroes, it's only a matter of time before they get rid of you. So we have to get back, like Binky said, we have to get back to a place where we can educate our children, build our communities, and be self-sufficient. Then we will be looked at differently, because let's think about this now. I'm gonna play this clip on Bughead Bunny.
It still comes back to having a position of leadership where you can dictate that. Period.
Yes,
exactly. Because right now we have, the patients are running the insane asylum. I'll just put it.
Yes, yes, they are. Yes, they are.
Hey, Dave, give me just a minute here. This is Black History Month. This is what I came prepared with for Black History Month. And the reason I came prepared this way for Black History Month is because me, a white guy, shouldn't be on the black side here, right? That's what
you should.
Okay.
You should be on the right side. That was righteous.
We're taught not to. We're supposed to be divided. That's
yeah.
I want the black community understand they have just as much to be proud of as a white community or a nation. That's what Black History Month should be about. It shouldn't be about slavery. It should be about patriotism. It should be about freedom. That's what it should be about.
Right.
Yeah.
But you know, Bing, we are all Americans, and we have to make sure that not just one reign, but we all should be reigning. And that's why I'm saying we have to get our community in order in order for us to succeed and move to the next level. Now, guys, I'm going to play this Big Bunny, whatever his name is, Sugar Cane Bunny, and all the rest. I'm going to play this clip, but this is what I tried to watch it, but I couldn't. They lost me when they was in the sugarcane fields.
I didn't.
And this fool came running with a football on his arm out the field. So I had to change it. I couldn't watch it because this is all about preserving the homosexuality agenda. It promoted pedophilia. It promoted homosexuality. It promoted same-sex marriage. When I was looking at the little bit I saw Barack Obama with his hands on it, talking about he accomplished his mission by instilling homosexuality because they feel like they have taken over the world.
But you know, Rock Nation was a part of that. You know who's over Rock Nation? Jay-Z.
Yes, Jay-Z, yeah.
I'm just saying that's where a lot of these ideas come from. I'm just saying.
They have already announced their relationship with Satan. Jay-Z wear the hairstyle of some demon.
Abramovich hanging around with
our kids don't know that.
Satanists.
Our kids don't know that Beyonce has become a witch, like Oprah and the rest of them witches out there. See, our kids don't know that because they fall prey to these people for the music. You understand what I'm saying? So the Bad Bunny thing for me was a disrespect to this country. It was a disrespect to the American people. No matter what color we were, how do you come to my house and you don't like me, but you need me, and you get on my television and you tell the American people, F you, we done took over and it's too late, and now what you gonna do about it? But I want to play what black people thought about it. See, because like me, I was so mad that I didn't destroy my TV. But I want to play some of the thoughts that black people had. And black people, this is why I say that now that we see what the Democrats have done with the SAVE Act, we got to vote them out. We got to get the SAVE Act in so that they will be allowed to show IDs to vote, because that's what we've had to do all our lives. But also we have to stand in unison to remove the spirit of homosexuality and pedophilia out of our country. We gotta, because our children's lives are at stake. So these hidden agenda, like the Bad Bunny, was sending a message of homosexuality to our kids. Let's watch it.
What the is he saying, bro?
Like, I mean this in the most respectful way possible. But if there was ever a time to call ICE, the Super Bowl halftime show is when y'all should have called them.
Why would I watch the halftime show or care if I don't understand what he's saying?
You say y'all trying to go do anything else but listen to this? All right, come on.
I gotta use ChatGPT to understand this. Oh God, boy. ChatGPT, can you translate what Bad Bunny is saying at the halftime performance for me? Bro!
This Ricky Marty. This is not Tupac. This is not nobody. It's Black History Month. Well, who's Ricky Marty?
He said Ricky Marty.
Here we go. The subtitles are in English now.
Yeah, and he's a sodomite, by the way.
I can't stand this. I mean, what in the world is all this foolishness?
Folks, your thought on that?
Well, you know, Ricky Martin is a sodomite. He's professed sodomite. And to what we know, allegedly Bad Bunny, because, you know, he's been hanging out with P. Diddy, Jay-Z, the whole All of them. They all hang out with Abramovic, especially Lady Gaga. Like she's got pictures with this woman. Now these are people who do something called spirit cookings, where they take pig's blood, semen, and a breast milk and put it together and splatter it along walls so it looks like a crime scene. Like these people are heavy into Luciferianism. They are Satan worshipers, period. Every Super Bowl performance since 2020 has had a theme to it, because people go, why does it look like a satanic ritual? Because that's who they are.
That's what they're doing.
All of them. Kendrick Lamar is up in there too. Kendrick is not saved from this. Okay.
Randy,
you know, I was at I was watching the Super Bowl at Pluckers because I was with a candidate and was doing a photo shoot, video shoot, and all that stuff. And so Pluckers was right across the street from the location where we was doing all this. I said, it's 5 o'clock. I'm out, Super Bowl time. And so I sat there and watched Super Bowl, and I already knew at the moment it got down to the 2-minute warning that I'm 20 minutes away from the house. So by the time I get home, I would have missed the halftime show. I had no desire to watch either the halftime show. Neither one of the halftime shows, the American one, the American Patriotic one, and the regular NFL one. I said I don't want to watch either one because I want to go in with a clean mind to be able to say, no, I was not tainted on either side. So whatever the audience saw, and they come up with their own formulations of what went down, and here we are. So for and to your point, Dr. Shack, Kendrick Lamar last year he set a little bit of the tone as to what we could expect for Super Bowls going forward. And I did watch his show last year, and I was like, I said, okay, the nice touch, Samuel L. Jackson, nice touch, it was good. I give him that, but the idea that you have a performer come to an American venue, the football, the grandest stage in the world,
right,
and you do a show to its entirety in another language with other countries. Well, Puerto Rico is part of the United States.
It's a territory.
But the flag to shadow out the U.S. flag, that told me so many symbology things.
Yes,
that
it was symbolic.
It was like, America, you need to wake up and pay attention to this. And what are we going to do about it next year? Are we going to protest the NFL and say, if y'all put up another trash ass artist,
trash ass artist,
you can forget about anybody watching the Super Bowl? That's where we need to go. And it was a disrespect to Black History Month.
Go ahead, Mr. Binky.
Well, as far as I'm concerned, with Benito Ocasio, who is bad funny, as far as I'm concerned, he should be sued. The NFL should be sued. NBC should be sued.
Keep it going. Come on. Why?
Because of the immoral, un-American, and vulgar actions of what they did.
But there's even more. There's even more, because don't we have an executive order in this country that we are an English-speaking country?
Well,
there could be an argument for that. I'm just saying.
Executive orders are not laws. Executive orders are not laws, but Democrats don't want to make English focus on that. Democrats don't want to make English an official language.
Yes.
Right.
So
they want Babylon.
The way I look at it here, as Randy said, are we going to boycott the NFL? I never even turned the game on to begin with. The only thing I did was I checked in to see how much time was going to be to halftime. And then I turned on the All-American halftime. And that's the truth. That's the truth. I could care less.
Yeah, I just got some work done. I just came into my office and shut it down. But I've done that for the past few years. I mean, since Janet Jackson, I was like, I can't trust y'all. I can't trust y'all. New England Pats.
Yeah,
Pats.
I
know.
It was
sorry that they lost, but
it was an ass whooping to remember. I'm happy they made it.
But check this out now. You got a worse ass whooping in 1985 when the Bears.
Yes, I know. Yeah. But see, the Patriots go to the Super Bowl more time than any other NFL team.
Yes, they do.
Win or lose. So I'm not mad coming off.
But what I think is sad
13
to
record.
to what you were saying earlier, Pastor, is like, why are politics in our sports?
Exactly.
Why isn't there just something we can enjoy without the noise?
Yep.
It's in everything. It's basketball, baseball, football. We can't just go and say, okay, these athletes at this high level, they've been fighting since they were 4 years old in this particular sport to get to this level. And all we're doing is making it political. And also spiritual, to that level.
Yes, yes. Well, guys, we got to get out of here. Your words, the last words, Bink, and we're going to get it out.
Well, I think Sunday should woke a lot of people up. The morality of this country, because of politics, like Doc said, is being played. People are being idolized. And I think we got to quit idolizing these athletes, idolizing movie stars, idolizing politics, and start idolizing on ourselves. We are the important people here. And until we all decide that we're going to put ourselves back on top again, start caring and helping each other as we should be, we're not going to go no place.
You're right, Big Miss Shaq.
Hey guys, well, thank you for joining us again for another wonderful discussion and debate. Thank you, Mr. Binky, for bringing up the SAVE Act, and Randy for bringing up, just how your boots on the ground with your own candidate. And Pastor, thank you for running for mayor for Chicago in 2027. And with that, check out the USA Redemption Party. We are looking for servants of the people, not politicians. So definitely check us out at usaredemptionparty.com.
But you already know that's where I'm coming. So we're gonna put it on the map, not take over in Chicago. Randy?
Absolutely. Thank you all for this great discussion. It's crazy out there, folks, and you just gotta keep your head on the swivel and pay attention to what's going on. Research. Don't just go with what you hear, what you see. You gotta actually research it and peel back that onion a little bit. You can follow me at rperm on all social media platforms and catch the show Mondays, Fridays, or some day of the week, depends on when I'm going. And other than that, I thank you all and God bless y'all.
Thank you guys for being on the show. It was great. We got to keep it up and we just got to keep giving it out to the people, the truth. I want to thank you folks for tuning into the show, and I want to let you know to share the show around. You can also go watch us from our new platform. That's letthetruthbetold.lightcast.com. You'll see it running at the lower part of the screen. These are my last words. To the Black community, first I want to say to all Americans, this is the United States of America, and that means that we live by rules and regulations. This country was built on God. The spiritual war has spilled into our lives to the place where we cannot ignore it. The fact that the Democratic Party has made a deal with Satan to be able to destroy our cities, to destroy our future, our children, and to create what we've seen today. This should be the last straw for Black people out there listening to me. If you want to make something go viral, this is it, because I'm going to give you the solution to the problem. First of all, we need to understand that a party who would come against those who made it to destroy us need to be shut down. This SAVE Act, it really showed Black people on how the Democratic Party have used us, how they've used our vote to steal money and to lie and to cheat, how to keep us dangling on a carrot that sooner or later we're going to get to you. The fact that they allowed another Black man to come in like Barack Obama and make an ass out of the Black community, that's the reason why the Democrats can't vote for the SAVE Act, is because Black people have awakened. We know what you did, Barack Obama. We know that this is a spiritual war, and the evil that we see that has been used with the LGBT party has become known. The LGBT has instituted war against God's people. That's the spiritual war between good and evil. But it has waged war in the black community where we're almost decimated. And as a pastor, it's my responsibility to sound the alarm as a watchman to tell the black community, this is our last stand. If we don't understand what has happened to us because we're so ignorant that the Democratic Party feels that we can't even get an ID. This is our last stand and our last chance to save our families across the country. Even without the leadership of the preachers, we must, as Americans, see the situation that's going on, especially in the black community. We must rally together and remove the evil that is being perpetrated with the Democratic Party. If we're going to save this country, if we're going to save the black community, then it's time for all Americans to unite and prove that we are American citizens and pass the SAVE Act so it can save our country and especially save the black community from illegals and any other body that come to this country the wrong way and take over our community. God bless you. Remember, black people, the Democratic Party is here to kill us and destroy us. We must stand with God so we can make this country great again. God bless you.